It happened on Halloween night, 2012, in a quiet town in Pennsylvania where nothing ever really happened. At least, not until that night. I was 16, and like every other kid, I thought I was invincible. My friends and I had a stupid plan to explore the old Miller house at the end of Birchwood Road, the one everyone said was cursed. They said the Millers disappeared there on Halloween in 1986, and every year after that, people claimed to see their porch light flicker at midnight. We brought flashlights, candy, and my dad's old camcorder. The house was colder inside than it had any right to be. The air smelled like wet dirt and something metallic. My friend Luke laughed nervously, calling out, "Mr. Miller, you home?" His voice echoed back, distorted, like someone was repeating it in a lower tone. I thought it was a trick of the acoustics, but then something tapped on the window behind us. 3 slow knocks. When I turned, there was nothing but darkness and the faint reflection of our flashlights. We decided to keep filming. We moved down a narrow hallway where the wallpaper was peeling like dead skin. That's when we heard the piano, 3 notes, slow, deliberate, coming from upstairs. None of us spoke for a few seconds. Then Luke whispered, "There's no way," but he didn't finish. We climbed the stairs, each step groaning under our weight. The piano stopped. When I shined my light into the master bedroom, the first thing I noticed was a mirror standing against the wall. It was cracked from top to bottom, but what made my heart drop was the reflection. There were 5 of us in it. Only 4 of us were in the room. The 5th figure stood behind me, smiling, wearing a pumpkin mask. And when I turned around, there was no one there. I froze, staring at that cracked mirror, my breath fogging the glass. Luke grabbed my arm and whispered, "We need to go." I nodded, but before we could move, the piano started again, this time faster, like someone slamming random keys. The house seemed to shake with every note. I ran first, flashlight bouncing, heart racing, but halfway down the stairs, something cold brushed the back of my neck. I swear I felt fingers. When we reached the front door, it wouldn't open. We pulled, kicked, even rammed it, but it was like the wood had fused to the frame. Behind us, the piano stopped. Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming down the stairs. I turned around and saw that same pumpkin mask emerging from the darkness. It was glowing faintly, like the light was coming from inside. Luke screamed and swung the flashlight. It hit the wall and went out, plunging us into blackness. I could hear him breathing, could hear the sound of the camera still recording. Then he screamed again, sharp, short, and it stopped. Just stopped. When I finally got the door open, I didn't look back. I ran until I reached the streetlight at the end of the road. The house behind me was quiet, the porch light flickering on and off. The police never found Luke, or the camera. They said the floorboards upstairs had collapsed years ago, that no one could have been up there. But every Halloween since, I get an email from an address that doesn't exist. No message, just an attachment. A short video clip. It's always the same recording. Me, staring into that cracked mirror. And right before the clip ends, the figure in the pumpkin mask leans closer to the lens and whispers, "You shouldn't have left him behind. My name's Daniel, and this happened on Halloween night in 2016, when I was 19. I was working part-time delivering pizzas for a small place in upstate New York. It was a slow night until around 11:30, when an order came in from an address way out on Old Pine Hollow Road, a dead end surrounded by woods. My boss told me to take it. It was the last delivery of the night. The GPS stopped working halfway there, and the road turned into gravel. My headlights caught trees that looked like they were bending toward me. When I finally saw the mailbox, it was rusted, the numbers barely visible. The house itself was set back from the road, dark except for a dim orange glow from one window. I grabbed the pizza and walked up the porch steps. They creaked with every step. I knocked once. No answer. Then I heard movement inside, slow footsteps coming closer. The door opened just enough for me to see part of a face. A man, maybe in his 60s, pale as paper. He didn't speak, he just pointed to the table behind him and slid out a $20 bill with shaking fingers. When I reached to take it, I noticed something wet on the money. It looked like red paint, but when I smelled it, it wasn't paint. He whispered, almost too quietly to hear, "Don't stay on the road too long." Then he shut the door, hard. As I walked back to my car, I saw someone standing near the tree line. It looked like a kid wearing a scarecrow mask. I blinked, and he was gone. I got in my car fast, heart pounding. The GPS was working again, but it showed the same house I'd just left as my next delivery stop. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. "You forgot to deliver to the children." I stared at that message for a long time, trying to convince myself it was some sick joke. Maybe the old man had friends messing with me. I hit the gas and drove off, but after a few minutes I realized I'd been driving in circles. Every turn led me back to that same narrow road. The woods on both sides looked identical, thick and endless. My phone lost signal again. The GPS froze, and the radio started picking up static. But under it, I swore I could hear children laughing. Then, out of nowhere, my headlights caught something on the road. Dolls, dozens of them, lined up in a perfect row, each one wearing a tiny mask stitched from burlap. I slammed the brakes, my heart thudding in my throat. When I got out, the air was freezing, and I could smell smoke, faint and sweet, like something burning far away. That's when I heard the sound, small feet running behind me. I spun around, flashlight shaking in my hand. Nothing. Just trees and fog. But when I turned back toward my car, there were 5 figures standing in front of it. Children, all wearing those same burlap masks. None of them moved. None of them breathed. One of them stepped forward and spoke in a whisper that didn't sound like a child's voice at all. He told you not to stay on the road. Before I could react, the car's headlights went out and the entire forest went silent. I ran into the woods, crashing through branches until I hit another dirt road. My car was gone. The house was gone. Everything was gone. When morning came, I found myself standing in an empty field. No road, no mailbox, just frost and silence. I quit that job the next day. But every Halloween since, someone places a pizza box on my porch. No return address. Inside, there's never any pizza, only 5 tiny burlap masks. My name is Olivia, and this happened when I was 17 in Salem, Massachusetts. Yeah, that's Salem. Halloween, there isn't just a holiday, it's a whole month. That year, 2019, I volunteered to help set up decorations at an old bed and breakfast called the Crowhurst Inn. It had once been a funeral home back in the 1800s, but the owner swore it was just part of the charm. The night before Halloween, a few of us stayed late to finish setting up. By midnight, everyone had gone except me and my friend Riley. We were hanging plastic bats in the hallway when the power flickered. It wasn't a normal outage. The lights dimmed one by one, like something was walking beneath them. Then the air got freezing cold. Riley joked, "Guess one of your ghosts is clocking in early." But when he looked toward the staircase, his face went pale. I followed his eyes and saw Rose standing halfway up the stairs. She wore a black Victorian dress, her hair long and wet, like she'd just crawled out of a river. Her eyes were white, no pupils, no expression. Before we could move, she whispered something. I couldn't make it out, but it sounded like my name. The lights went out completely, and Riley grabbed my arm, yelling for the exit. We made it to the lobby, but the front door wouldn't open. It was like someone was holding it shut from the other side. I turned toward the reception desk and saw an old ledger book lying open. Written in perfect cursive was, Olivia Marsh, checked in, October 31st, 2019. The problem was, I hadn't written that. No one had asked me to sign anything. Then we heard footsteps above us. Slow, bare feet dragging. And when I looked up, dust was falling from the ceiling, right above where my name was written. Riley wanted to run, but I couldn't move. My name written in that old ledger felt like a trap. The ink was fresh, almost wet. Then a loud thud came from upstairs. Riley hissed, "We're leaving, Liv," and yanked the door. It opened halfway, then slammed so hard the glass rattled. I turned toward the stairs. The woman was gone, but her wet footprints climbed upward. I followed, even though every instinct screamed not to. Each step groaned, the air grew colder, heavier. Riley's voice echoed from below, fading like it was sinking underwater. The prints ended at room 3. The door was cracked open, a faint humming leaking through, the same tune that had played in the lobby before the power cut. I pushed it open. Inside was a metal gurney with a white sheet. My hand shook as I lifted it. Riley lay there, eyes wide, mouth frozen mid-scream. The door slammed behind me. Lights flickered. She was there, in the corner. Her face twitched as she whispered, "You checked in. You can't check out." I smashed through the window and hit the ground hard. When I looked up, the room was dark again. No woman, no Riley. I ran until the inn was gone, until my lungs burned. By sunrise, I reached a gas station. Police found nothing. Riley's car vanished. Every page of the ledger was blank, except one. My name, same handwriting, same date. The Crowhurst Inn closed a month later after the owner disappeared too. Every Halloween since, a brass key appears in my mailbox, tarnished. Old. The tag always reads, Room 3, Crowhurst Inn.